Welcome to the Calcutta Races Summer Meeting 2022, an extra day, Wednesday 23rd of March 2022 race preview. The first race of the afternoon is the Torah Loco Handicap for horses rated 1 to 26 to be run over a distance of 1600 meters. The first runner we are looking at is Colossal. Colossal has had a couple of starts. First up in race number 26, it took the turn in 12th spot, made up a couple of places and finished on 10th behind Who Dares Wins at his next start. Colossal, who took the turn in 8th spot, again made up some late gains and eventually came out and finished on 4th behind Mandolin, who has subsequently won again. Number 2 is Creation of God. Creation of God has had 3 starts. First up, it finished on 2nd behind Adonica in race number 22 over 1400 meters. Next up, it finished on 8th over 2000 meters behind Magnite in his last start. It took the turn in 8th spot, then made up a place and eventually finished on 7th of 11 runners. The winner here was Arrow. Number 3 is Wind Chaser. Wind Chaser has had quite a few starts and has placed in quite a few races as well. But in its last start, Wind Chaser took the turn in 8th spot, made up a place and finished on 7th. The winner here was Wenching, who won that race by almost 2.5 lengths. Number 4 is Act of Magic. In his last start, Act of Magic was racing up with the pace till about the last 600 meters, then started falling back and eventually finished on 7th of 7 runners. The winner here was UB, who won that race by almost length and 3/4. Number 5 is Hootson. 4 stars for Hootson, has been knocking on the doors. First up, it finished on 4th behind Ailani in his next start. Again finished on 4th behind Criteria over 1800 meters. Next start, it was slow to begin and eventually came out and finished on 4th behind Nazaka. Then his last start, Hootson took the turn wide in 6th spot, then made up some late gains and came into the mix but finished on 3rd. The winner here was X-Fight, who won that race by riding the rail. The second race of the afternoon is the King's Academy Handicap for horses rated 61 to 86, rated 41 to 66, eligible to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. First up, we're looking at number 1, Legendary Striker, who's already completed a hat trick. Won in race number 54, beating Whispering Grass. Won in race number 62, beating Sheer Force. Won in race number 93, beating Barak. In his last start, was racing in 5th spot, tried to make some late gains and eventually came out and finished on 5th of 7 runners. The winner here was Agnostic. Number 2 is Mogul. Mogul completed a couple of wins in the earlier part of the season. Won in race number 15, beating Exotic Queen. Won in race number 61, beating Centurion. In his next start, it finished on 2nd behind Agnostic. In his last start, Mogul was racing in 6th spot, tried to make up a late gain on the outside, but eventually came out and finished on 3rd. The winner here was the Protector. Number 3 is Roaring Tiger, has had 3 starts so far in this season. His first start, it finished on 5th behind Dandi Satyagraha over 1200 meters. In his next start, it finished on 5th again behind Cliffhanger over 2400 meters. In his last start, it finished on 6th behind Parisian in a field of 7 after taking the turn in 2nd spot. Number 4 is Phoenicia Mist. Phoenicia Mist was a winner in race number 23. Since then, had 3 unpleased efforts. In race number 45, finished on 6th. In race number 70, finished on 10th. In race number 77, it finished on 6th. In his last start, Phoenicia Mist, who was racing in a forward position, then weakened slightly and eventually finished on 3rd of 5 runners. The winner here was Legendary Striker. Lastly, we got number 5, Exotic Queen. Exotic Queen, after knocking on the door throughout the season, first up it finished on 2nd in race number 15, then it finished on 4th in race number 23, then it had a couple of unplaced efforts. In his last start, Exotic Queen went on a start to finish mission in a non-winner race, and Exotic Queen kicked away from the field and won that race by almost length and a quarter, beating Atom into 2nd. We move on to the third race of the afternoon, the Aziz Handicap for horses rated 1 to 26 to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality to be run over a distance of 1200 meters. The first runner we are looking at is number 1, Mose. Mose has had 6 starts so far. It won in race number 42 where it got the measure of bunting by almost a short neck. In his last start, Mose was travelling in 9th spot as they entered the home straight, then made some lead gains and eventually finished on 3rd behind Mandolin. It was noted after the race that Mose was bleeding through the nostrils. Couple of runners we're looking at. First up, we got number 2, Jinsuku. Jinsuku has had 4 starts. It has been progressing, and in its penultimate start, it finished on 3rd behind Ashwamegh in race number 92. In his last start, it went on a start-to-finish mission, then weakened slightly and finished on 2nd. A very positive jockey booking with Suraj Naidu coming on board. We also had number 9, Unstoppable. Unstoppable in his last start took the turn in 6th spot, made up some late gains and down the centre and finished on 4th. The winner here was Sun God. Number 3 is Dahlia. Dahlia is by excellent out of Bolt. 1 start for Dahlia and it was practically a no-show where it took the turn in 9th spot, eventually finished on 9th. The winner here was Ashwamegh, who won that race by coming out flying on the wide outside and beating the field by almost length and a quarter. Number 4 is Wandering Angel. Wandering Angel won an earlier part of the season, then it placed once and then since then has been off board in his last 5 starts. In his last start, it took the turn in 5th spot, then weakened and finished on 6th, and the winner here was Mr. Batolabaz. We have 5 runners which went up against each other in race number 105. First up, we got X-Fight. X-Fight was the winner earlier part of the season in race number 34. In his last start, took the turn in 8th spot, then finished on 7th. Number 6 was Legend Returns, who took the turn in 4th spot, made up some late gains and almost got the race, but lost out by a nose. We had number 7, which is Glory Hallelujah, who took the turn in 7th spot, weakened and finished on 8th. We had number 8, Tahoe, who took the turn in 7th spot and finished on 6th. We had number 10, which is Light in the Sky. Light in the Sky went on a start to finish mission, kept on boxing on, but eventually had to settle for 3rd spot. The winner here was Jugaad, who won that race by the closest possible margin. We move on to the 4th race of the afternoon, the another time handicap for horses rated 21 to 46, rated 1 to 26, eligible to be run over a distance of 1200 meters. The first runner we are looking at is number 1, Immeasurable. 3 starts for Immeasurable. First up, it finished on 5th in race number 61 behind Mughal. Next up, it finished on 6th behind Santana in race number 85. Last up, it was a little slow to begin, then took the turn in 5th spot and eventually finished on 5th. The winner here was the Flying Eagle, who won that race by almost length and a quarter. Number 2 is Sea Sky's run is from the monsoon season where it started up with a win. Then in its next start, Sea Sky was racing in 6th spot, then eventually finished on 5th behind Whistleblower. This race was over 1600 meters. Number 3 is Properly Posh. 3 starts for Properly Posh. First up, it finished on 2nd behind Paisley. Next up, in race number 61, it finished on 6th behind Mughal. In his last start, it took the turn in 8th spot and eventually finished on 8th of 8 runners. The winner here was Basharat, who won that race by a half length. Next up, we got number 4, Summer Air. Summer Air has had a couple of starts. First up, it finished on 7th behind Mughal in race number 15 over 1200 meters. Next up, it was a little slow to begin, but took the turn in 4th spot, then weakened and finished on 8th of 11 runners. The winner here was Santana. Couple of runners, Mr. Batolabaz started the season with a win, then it placed in a couple of few runs. In his last start, Mr. Batolabaz took the turn in 4th spot, then took charge into the last 200 meters or so and then won that race by riding the rail. We also had number 11 Castillo, who has been knocking on the doors but has been meeting one better in his last start, took the turn in third spot, was hanging in a little bit and eventually finished on third. 3 runners, we're looking at number 6 Trebia. 3 starts for Trebia so far. Finished on 5th in his first start behind Who Dares Wins. Then it finished on 2nd behind Santana in race number 68. In last start it finished on 3rd after taking the turn in 3rd spot. Number 7 is Cape Town Ross. 4 starts for Cape Town Ross. Finished 1 in race number 49. Since then has been off board in his next 3 starts. We also had number 9, which is Star Justice, was a winner in race number 75, getting the measure of Sun God in his last start. Finished on 2nd behind Bahulian, almost 2.5 lengths from the winner. Number 8 is Forevermore. 1 start for Forevermore, where it was racing in the wrong end of the field as they entered the home straight, but was produced wide of the track. On the top of your screen you can see came up like a freight train and got that race in the dying stages of the race and then drew away from them. And excellent out of Forever Glory is Forevermore. Of runners, number 10 Aggression has had quite a few starts. In his last start, Aggression took the turn in 2nd spot, then came under pressure, was hanging in a little bit and then finished on 3rd. We also had number 13 Apna Time Aayega also has quite a few starts. In his last start, took the turn in 6th spot and eventually made up a place and finished on 5th. The winner here was Wenching, who went on to win his 3rd race of the season. Number 12 is Revolution. The run we are looking at is from Bangalore. This is the Bangalore Derby, where Revolution took the turn in 7th spot and did not make any further improvement. Finished on 7th. The winner here was Zuccarelli, who won that race in very impressive fashion by almost 15.25 lengths and went on to win the Indian Derby. Number 14 is Sun God. Sun God has had 4 starts in this season and after placing in couple of starts and in fact 5 starts in this season. In his last start, Sun God took the turn in 2nd spot, then took charge into the last 250 meters and then went away from the field, won that race by almost 5.25 lengths, beating Jinsuku. We move on to the 5th race of the afternoon, the Desiree Handicap for horses rated 41 to 66, rated 21 to 46, eligible. We run over a distance of 1200 meters. First up, we're looking at number 1, East Side. East Side has had 6 starts in this season, was knocking on the door until his last start, where East Side took the turn in 3rd spot, came up with a run down the center and won that race in a ding-dong battle from Atom, won that race by a short neck. Number 2 is Big Star. Big Star has had 5 starts so far, as in his last start went on a start to finish mission but then didn't have much to offer. Big Star fell back and finished on 5th of 6 runners. The winner here was the Protector. Number 3 is Namiki. Namiki has had 4 starts. In his last start, Namiki took the turn in 4th spot, then gradually improved position and came up down the center, took charge into the last 200 meters or so, then drew away from the field, won that race by a widening margin of 7 lengths, beating Apna Time Aayega. Number 4 is Harbour Sunrise. Harbour Sunrise has had 6 starts so far, has placed couple of times. First up in race number 29, it finished on 3rd behind D. Undertaker. In his last start, Harbour Sunrise took the turn in 4th spot, then made up a place and finished on 3rd of 5 runners. The winner here was Exotic Queen. Of runners, number 5 Adonica. Adonica was a winner in race number 22, where it got the measure of Creation of God. Then it finished on 3rd in race number 80 behind Basharat. In his last start, where it took the turn in 6th spot and finished on 6th. We had number 10, Secret Pearl, who was a winner of earlier part of the season in race number 28, where it got the measure of rare birth. Since then has placed in his 3 starts. In his last start took the turn in 4th spot, then came out and finished on 3rd. Couple of runners again. Number 6 is Rare Bird. Rare Bird has had quite a few starts, was a winner earlier part of the season in race number 6, where it beat UV. In his last start, Rare Bird took the turn in 4th spot, then came out and finished on 2nd behind Baid by 3 lengths. We also had number 7, Indian Tiger, who was also a winner earlier part of the season in race number 35, where it got the measure of Rare Bird. In his last start, it finished on 5th after taking the turn in 2nd spot. Number 8 is Cormorant. Cormorant, after being unplaced in his first couple of starts of the season, in his last start, Cormorant took the turn wide and came even wider, almost to the outer rail. And you can see on the top of your screen, Cormorant was travelling the widest of the lot, then took charge and won that race by almost 2.5 lengths, beating Shivalik Silk. We got couple of runners here. Number 9 is Circus Queen. Number 11, Memorable Memories. Circus Queen, 3 starts for Circus Queen. In his last start, it took the turn in 3rd spot, eventually finished on 3rd. Number 11 is Memorable Memories, who was racing up with the pace, was chasing the early leaders, then weakened and finished on 4th. The winner here was UV, who won that race by almost length and 3/4. We move on to the 6th race of the afternoon, the Akka Handicap for horses rated 41 to 66, rated 21 to 46, eligible to be run over a distance of 1600 meters. First up, we got number 1, Euphrates, the winner of the Calcutta Oaks, where it got the measure of Camila, where Euphrates was travelling in 2nd spot, but as the heads turned for home, Euphrates took charge and kept on galloping, and Camila eventually finished on 2nd. Number 2 is Third Avenue. Third Avenue won 3 races on a trot. Then it went up against Cliffhanger over 2,400 meters and came short. Finished on 2nd. In his last start in the Senleja, it took the turn in 4th spot. Then finished on 4th. The winner here was Jake, who went on a start to finish mission and kept on galloping. Number 3 is Donish, was a winner in race number 67, where it went over 2000 meters and it got the measure of Magnite. In his next start, Donish got into a ding-dong battle with Justified and came out on the wrong side by a nose. In his last start, Donish took the turn in 4th spot, tried to make a passage on the wide outside, but in a blanket finish, it finished on 4th behind Ailani. We move on to a couple of runners now. Number 4 is Santana. Santana has completed back-to-back win. First up, it won in race number 68, where it got the measure of Trebian. In his last start, Santana took the turn in 5th spot, and the runner with Reader Sherwin seemed like it had it in the bag. But Santana kept on galloping and came up and got that race by a long neck. We also had number 5, Eastern Crown, who has had 4 starts, placed in his first 2 starts. In his last start, finished on 8th of 14 runners. Couple of runners again. Number 6 is Daring Heart, multi-dimensional out of Romantic. Was a winner in race number 13, where it got the measure of Infinite and Beyond. Since then, finished on 4th behind Erlani, finished on 5th behind Donish, and last start it took the turn in front, but it weakened and eventually finished on 7th of 9 runners. We also had number 9, which is Lamarck. Lamarck in his last start was racing in 8th spot, came up with a run and eventually finished on 4th. Couple of runners here. Number 7 is Whistleblower. Whistleblower has had 5 starts in the season, has placed couple of times. In his last start, took the turn in 6th spot, came up with a run on the wide outside and eventually came out and finished in the money and finished on 3rd. We also had number 11, which is Mandolin. Mandolin has already got couple of wins in the season. It won in race number 58, where it got the measure of Lady Lorraine. In his last start, Mandolin came up with a late charge and got that race by a head, beating Debut Ska. The run we are looking at for number 8, Circle of Love, is from Bombay, where in race number 57 it was travelling in 4th spot, then weakened and eventually finished on 7th. The winner here was the Babaji, won that race by almost 3 parts of a length after going on a start to finish mission. Couple of runners. Number 10 is Divine Chakra. Divine Chakra in his last start went on a start to finish mission and kept on boxing on, but the late surge by Wenching was too strong and Divine Chakra could only finish on second. We also had number 12 Goldborn, who has been knocking on the doors but has been disappointing to say the least. In his last start took the turn in third spot, then finished on fourth of 9 runners. The winner was Wenching. Couple of runners. Number 13 is the Indicator, who was winner in race number 76 after getting slowly away, but beat Shopify in a small field. In his last start, again the Indicator was a little slow to begin, took the turn in 10th spot and eventually finished on 10th of 11 runners. The winner here was Arrow, who was the other runner in this field we are looking at, took the turn in 4th spot, took charge into the last 100 meters or so and won that race by almost 2 lengths. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. See you at the races or on our YouTube coverage.